Hi, I'm Peter Whittle. Now, recently on social media, I saw a clip, you might have seen it too, of some young women tearing down the Cross of St. George, which had obviously been put up as part of the Raise the Colours campaign. They tore it down and then one of them stamped on it in a way which seemed to show a disproportionate kind of anger and hatred for what it represented. And it sort of set me thinking about how kind of cultural self-loathing amongst many people in this country has played such a huge role over, well, I would say, the whole of the post-war period. Certainly, it's been a preoccupation of mine. And here at the NCF too, we did a book once called A Sorry State, which was all about this and the role in which this kind of, well, rejection of self, rejection of nation, the part it plays in our politics and our political culture. The reason I bring this up is that we're living in a quite exciting time of change. We had the fantastic march recently, a Unite the Kingdom march in London. I went on it, and I have to say it was exhilarating. And there was no such thing as self-loathing going on in that march. There might be a very good reason for this. And that is that essentially there's a class element going on here too. Working class people much more ready to be patriotic and to display it and not to be ashamed in any way, the middle class people. This goes right back actually to Orwell, the 1940s. He talked about the intelligentsia and the fact that it was far more ready to steal from a charity box than stand for God Save the King. And he had a point. The difference is that since then, the intelligentsia, or what amounts to intelligentsia in this country today, has sort of spread much further out. It's a much bigger class of people. I prefer to call them the lumpen intelligentsia. They're the ones who have these similar attitudes of a kind of dislike of England and a dislike of English things, and a preference for anything that's not. Another example actually was something that happened quite a few years ago, which I then used as the opening anecdote in a book I wrote called Being British. I was in Hatch Yards in London, central London, and there were two kind of rather snarky student sales assistants behind the till. We were queuing up at the time. And they'd obviously been having a conversation about Britain or about British history or something. And one of them said, well, what has Britain ever given the world anyway? Oh, yeah, concentration camps. And I remember being utterly furious at this kind of level of self-denigration and also just lying and a lack of knowledge and a willingness to see the very, very worst side of this country and to elevate it above all else. On a more exalted level, the philosopher Roger Scruton called it the culture of repudiation. That is actually sort of going back and repudiating home, family, country, flag, everything.
That march that we had here 2 weeks ago in London, in Whitehall, that sent shivers through the spines of many of our communities.
Fact is, it's very, very easy to actually see what those kind of people must have felt when they watched the demonstration in London recently. But that should not discourage or put any of us off. We should absolutely carry on marching. We should do more and more marching. We should show more and more displays of our pride and our patriotism. No one else is going to do it for us. This is an incredibly important time, actually. All of this has come as well from the grassroots, whether it is marching in London or whether it is raising the colours in our towns and cities around the country. It's come very, very much from below. It's come from people who organise from the grassroots. This is hugely important. We cannot let it just fade away. We can't let it just wither on the vine. We've got to keep it alive. The days when we could be backward in coming forward about what we feel about our country, those days are gone. We can't afford it anymore. Fact is, we have to be upfront about why we are proud of this country. No one else, least of all our liberal elites, are actually going to do this kind of thing for us. We have to do it ourselves. And in fact, what has been so encouraging over the past year alone has been the number of things that in fact have started on a purely grassroots level. This has got to continue. We cannot let the momentum go. Now, with that in mind, the New Culture Forum a while back made a short film which listed basically all the great things that this country had given the world. Well, of course, most of us know we built the modern world. I'm going to play it now, but please do share it far and wide, because really in many ways it shows us why we march, why we are proud, and why we hold the flag in the highest of esteem, and why we reject this sort of self-hatred which has characterized this country for far, far too long. So this is the list. Please spread it far and wide, and see you when we meet again. Thank you. Parliamentary democracy. The world's first industrial revolution. Charles Darwin and the concept of evolution. William Shakespeare. Isaac Newton and the laws of gravity. The World Wide Web was invented by Tim Berners-Lee. English, the global language. The concept of common law. The King James Bible. The scientific method as developed by Sir Francis Bacon. Sir Francis Drake. Joseph Lister. Alexander Fleming and penicillin. The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. Charlie Chaplin. Turner. Cartwright and the invention of power looms. The mass production of steel. Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen. Football, cricket, rugby, golf, almost all organised sport. The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. William Harvey and the human circulation system. James Bond, the invention of Ian Fleming. Frank Whittle and the jet engine. Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. The smallpox vaccination by Edward Jenner. The steam engine. John Milton's Paradise Lost. The cat scanner. Harry Potter, as created by J.K. Rowling. The structure of DNA, as discovered by Francis Crick and James Watson. Sherlock Holmes, the creation of Arthur Conan Doyle. The world's first modern postal service. Miss Marple and Hercule Poirot, the creations of Agatha Christie. The Beatles, Sir Alfred Hitchcock. The music of Edward Elgar. Charles Dickens. David Bowie, 1984 by George Orwell. Electromagnetism, developed by Michael Faraday. Railways. Viagra. Florence Nightingale and modern nursing. The abolition of the slave trade. And Sir Winston Churchill.